Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I'm really grateful to create alongside your journey. And if you would like me to answer any of your questions about energy healing or issues you might be experiencing in your physical body, please comment and share your questions below, and then I'll be happy to answer them. Today, I wish to explain the Chosen One's stories and the understanding messages and healing for you. So The Chosen One is my second book, and there are 8 chapters individually titled under subject matter, then a series of short stories within each category or subject. Each story has a channeled writing using a method called automatic writing, during which a conversation began of clairaudient, clairvoyant, and clairsentient nature. The impressions, images, words, and emotions were transferred onto paper at exactly the same time that an energy healing was being performed. The specific subject and its healing then produced the messages and, more importantly, the wisdom required to evolve within the matter in question and ultimately, creatively moving forward in your life. In today's video, I'm going to share another story from chapter 3, and it's titled The Founder. So, my attention is brought to the old Wild West scene. An outlaw sits perched behind a horse-drawn carriage. He is a wanted man pretending to be a trader. He is riding into town. This man has stolen and taken a life or two, but without regret. He's a bitter and hardened man, and he doesn't care what he needs to do to get his way. He plans to steal again and remain on the run. It's the only life he's known. His father was a big drinker and gambling man, and he's modeled after him. It took 400 years to allow this ancestry an opportunity to heal. George was a well-read scholar individual, but he unfortunately carried an energy aspect of his forefather and was experiencing an unexplained guilt for it. It is true that his feelings had no rational or logical reason for his guilt, but nevertheless, he found himself carrying a heavy weight which was burdensome. He never truly celebrated his achievements nor value. He was a self-confessed perfectionist who viewed himself as not quite good enough. In his mind, he was not educated enough, handsome enough, or successful enough. But in reality, he was all of those things: extremely educated, thorough, considerate, talented, admired, and handsome. He was passionate about books and found great excitement and joy in learning, but he was lonely. He rode a bicycle to work each day. When he arrived there, he would organize and arrange typed pages in order, ready for formal printing. Beginning with notices and community news, he gradually expanded his machinery and size to offer a printing service to companies and authors of books. Over the next 30 years, his company grew in popularity, size, and mainly servicing authors, and he went on to become one of the most popular self-published companies in America. His eldest son would eventually take over the reins and continue the business. But there is a depleting energy which still exists here today. And this has occurred because of his perfectionism outweighing and eventually exhausting the creative and expanding process. And with that expected residue of not worthy good enough, the attraction of those who don't expect worth would be delivered. In those days, delays were of an expected nature. There were no laser printers, typesetters, or computers. The energy of slow production supported the slow and cumbersome outcome. But he had something to prove. He was a kind, educated man with no association to the unlawfulness or crime. His outlaw ancestor was not him. However, he always felt a connection, a guilt associated with his bloodline, further enhancing his need to prove himself. The outlaw, who was George's great-great-great-grandfather, didn't live a long life and was eventually shot by a sheriff in the centre of the town. He'd been with a showgirl very casually for some time, with whom he had had a son. We see an old-fashioned lantern now on the street corner buzzing as though it's voicing its voltage. Light streams appear, then move forward at an unimaginable speed, and within a few seconds, we're in the year 2012. Jesus stands behind the building, larger in size than it. He extends his hands around it as if to hug the building. He clears the attachments which appear like an infestation of outer roots struggling the exterior. We see them fall away and disappear, the slow, stagnant energy dissipating. We give thanks. The original founder briefly presents and gives thanks, then fades. The founder has connection to France from the female side. Amen. Thank you once again for taking the time to share this beautiful story. In the description below, there are all links to services and products that I offer. So please share, like, and subscribe. Until our next story, namaste.